The galactic tournament arena roared with life. The air shimmered with heat from the spotlights above. Hundreds of alien voices mixed into a wall of sound, deep growls, high-pitched clicks, and metallic echoes bouncing off the steel walls. Flags from 100 worlds fluttered on massive screens, each showing live feeds of the match about to begin. In the center of the junior combat ring stood Ka single quotes Ariel. He was small, far too small for the armor they had given him. His shoulders looked lost under the heavy plates. One mechanical leg, thin and jointed like an insect's, clicked softly each time he shifted his weight. His other leg trembled, not from injury, but from the weight of the moment. Around him, 3 opponents, bigger, stronger, and far more confident, circled slowly, like predators tasting the scent of fear. They were all laughing. From the crowd, the laughter grew. It rolled like a wave, building and echoing until it felt like the entire galaxy was laughing at him. Camera drones zipped in close, their lenses unblinking, broadcasting every bead of sweat, every twitch, every nervous glance. A deep, booming voice filled the arena, the announcer speaking in standard. Ladies and gentlebeings, today we have something truly special for you. The smallest warrior in the galaxy's history. Will he fight, or will he break before the first blow? The crowd howled. Someone threw a piece of food into the ring. It bounced near Corral's feet. Corral's eyes darted to the stands, searching for a familiar face. There was no one, no parents, no friends, no one cheering for him. His mechanical leg hissed softly as the servos adjusted, the sound lost under the roar of voices not far above. In one of the shaded viewing balconies, Commander Rienholt sat motionless. The human veteran's eyes followed the boy, but his face stayed. Cold, he was broad-shouldered, with short-cropped gray hair and a faint scar across his jaw. His uniform jacket was plain, unadorned except for one medal pinned to his chest, a medal that most aliens here wouldn't recognize, but those who did knew it was awarded only for acts of impossible courage. Rian's jaw tightened as the laughter echoed. He remembered a different arena, long ago, under a burning sky. He remembered being surrounded, mocked, told he would never survive the next hour. He remembered the taste of blood in his mouth, and the way the crowd had cheered for his death. Down in the ring, one of Corral's opponents stepped forward, a tall reptilian youth with a thick tail and armored skin. He leaned in, saying something that made the other two laugh even harder. Corral's hands clenched, but he didn't speak. The announcer's voice returned, dripping with mockery. Oh, what courage! The little warrior doesn't even talk. Is it fear, or wisdom to stay silent before his doom? More laughter, more jeers. Rian's fingers drummed once on the armrest, then stopped. His eyes narrowed. Corral's mechanical. Legs slipped slightly on the smooth arena floor. The crowd erupted with another wave of cruel noise. The reptilian shoved him, not hard enough to injure, but enough to send him stumbling. One of the camera drones moved closer, its red recording. Light glowing. It caught Corral's face, the quick flash of shame, the small intake of breath, the way he swallowed hard but didn't cry. The image broadcast across every giant screen in the arena. The laughter swelled again. Rian exhaled slowly through his nose. He remembered a voice from years ago, an old comrade saying, "Sometimes you have to stand up when no one else will." The announcer's tone turned theatrical. And now, dear audience, the match begins. A loud metallic gong echoed through the arena. The combat timer appeared on the giant screens, a bright red 5 o'clock. Counting down. The reptilian opponent stepped forward again. The other two spread out, cutting off Corral's retreat. The boy's breathing quickened. His hands tightened on the light staff they had given him, but the weapon shook in his grip. The reptilian smirked and shoved him harder this time. Carl fell. The sound of his mechanical leg hitting the ground was sharp, almost metallic, a cruel reminder to the crowd of what made him different. Gasps mixed with more laughter. The camera drone swarmed closer, capturing the moment for every viewer. Across the galaxy dot up in the stands, Rian's hands curled into fists. His eyes stayed locked on the boy, who was struggling to get back up. Something in the veteran's chest twisted. The timer kept ticking. 4:47, 4:46. Without another thought, Rian stood. His seat creaked under the sudden motion. He stepped forward, pushing past the other spectators in his row. Some recognized the human and muttered in confusion. Others simply stared. He didn't look at them. His eyes stayed on the arena floor, not by the time Karel got back onto one knee. Rian was already moving down the stairs toward the field entrance. Security would try to stop him. The officials would try to protest. But Rian knew one thing. He wasn't going to watch another child be humiliated in front of the galaxy. Not again. The crowd's noise faded in his mind. All he could hear was the echo of his own footsteps and the faint mechanical hiss of a boy's leg as he struggled to stand. And so, as the clock reached 4:30, the human warrior stepped toward the arena gate. 2 arena guards moved to block the entrance as Commander Rian Holt approached. They were tall insectoid aliens, their armor plates clicking softly as they shifted stance. One crossed his staff in front of the doorway. "No entry," he said in a flat, buzzing voice. "Tournament rules. No interruptions." Rian didn't stop walking. His boots made a heavy thud on the steel floor with each step. "I'm not here to interrupt," he said evenly. "I'm here to join." The guard's mandibles twitched in disbelief. "Join? The match is for registered contestants only." "And you," one of them tilted his head, looking him up and down, "you're not on the roster. You're not even the right species." From inside the arena, the laughter rolled again, louder than before. The sound made Rian's jaw tighten. He glanced over the guard's shoulder. Corral was back on his feet now, standing in the middle of the ring with his light staff trembling in both hands. His opponents were circling like vultures. Rian's voice dropped lower, colder. "Move. I'm invoking dual guardianship." Both guards froze. The term sounded strange, like an ancient echo. One of them tilted his head. "That is not used anymore," he said slowly. "It's still in the Galactic Code," Rian replied. "Section 12, Line 42. A guardian with proven combat. Record may stand in for a minor or unfit contestant, if they accept all risks." One guard started to argue, but Rian reached into his jacket. He pulled out a small, worn medal, a simple silver star, marked with 3 tiny red lines across the center. The moment it caught the arena lights, the insectoids stiffened. Every veteran in the galaxy knew that symbol. It was awarded only after surviving the Krith War, a brutal conflict where humans had fought against impossible odds. Somehow, won battles no one believed they could. The guard on the left shifted uncomfortably. "You are that Holt?" he asked in a whisper. Rian didn't answer. He simply slid the medal back into his pocket. "Open the gate." The 2 guards looked at each other. Then, wordlessly, they moved aside. One tapped a control pad, and the arena gate began to lift with a mechanical hiss as the heavy door rose. The bright glare of the arena lights spilled across Rian's face. The roar of the crowd hit him like a physical wave. Inside, the announcer's voice boomed through the speakers. "What's this? A human entering the match? This is highly irregular." The camera drones immediately turned toward him, zipping closer to catch every angle. A ripple of surprise ran through the alien crowd. Some boos, some confused murmurs, and here and there, shouts of recognition. Rian stepped onto the sand of the ring, boots leaving deep prints His eyes went straight to Corral. The boy blinked, confused. His breathing was fast, and sweat ran down the side of his face. Rian knelt so they were eye level. The crowd noise dimmed in Corral's mind. All he could see was this strange. Human, battle-worn but calm. You're not alone anymore, Rian said quietly. Corral's eyes widened. His throat bobbed as he swallowed. Why? Why are you? Because someone once stood for me, Rian interrupted. His voice was calm, but the words carried weight. Now it's my turn. He turned to face the three alien youths. They were whispering to each other, smirking. One of them, a thick-skinned mammalian, laughed and shouted, 2 weaklings now? This will be over in seconds. The crowd erupted in agreement. The announcer's voice dripped with fake drama. Apparently, the human intends to fight. With the child, this will be amusing. Rian ignored the noise. He reached to the side of the arena where spare practice weapons were stored. His hand closed around a long spear, light in weight, but balanced perfectly. He spun it once, the tip slicing the air with a sharp whoosh. Even the crowd noticed the way he held it. This was not a beginner. Corral stood beside him now still, breathing hard, but his shoulders had lifted a little. The trembling in his hands slowed. Rian glanced down at him. When the gong sounds, stay close. Watch what I do. You don't need to win alone. You just need to stand. The boy gave a quick nod at the edge of the ring. The officials were in a flurry of discussion, but the announcer had already declared the match would continue. The crowd was hungry for whatever this strange twist would bring. The reptilian opponent stepped forward with a sneer. You'll regret this, human. Rian didn't even blink. He shifted his stance, spear angled forward, eyes locked on his enemies. The announcer's voice rang out one last time. Ladies and gentle beings, round 2 begins. The gong slammed through. The reptilian attacker lunged first, claws out, teeth bared. Rian stepped sideways, smooth as water, letting the strike pass him. In one motion, his spear swept low, hooking the alien's leg. With a sharp crack, the reptilian hit the sand face first. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The mammalian opponent growled and charged. He was bigger, stronger, and faster than Corral, maybe even faster than Rian. But Rian didn't meet him head on. He pivoted, using the mammalian's own momentum to shove him toward the edge of the ring. The alien skidded dangerously close to the barrier wall. The announcer's voice cracked with surprise. And the human shows skill far beyond this tournament's average level. Corral stood just behind Rian, eyes darting between him and the enemies. His grip on the light staff tightened. Rian didn't look back, but his voice was calm and steady. Feet apart, knees soft. Breathe. Through your nose. Watch their shoulders. That's where the attack starts. Corral adjusted, copying his stance. The trembling in his arms eased. The third opponent, a tall insectoid youth, tried a flanking move. Rian's spear swung in a perfect arc, stopping just short of the insectoid's head. The tip hummed with restrained power. You're fast, Rian said to him, his tone almost polite. But not fast enough. The insectoid hissed and backed away. By now, the crowd's laughter had quieted. The booing had stopped. All eyes were locked on the strange human, and the boy at his side, at the official's table. A pair of older alien judges were whispering urgently. One tapped a datapad, pulling up the galactic code. The other shook his head violently. This guardian rule hasn't been used in 200 years. Doesn't matter, the first judge replied. It's still legal. Back in the ring, the reptilian scrambled to his feet, furious. His eyes burned with rage as he stormed toward Corral. Rian stepped forward, blocking the path. No, he said simply. The reptilian tried to push past him. Rion's spear came up in a lightning-fast jab, stopping inches from his chest. The reptilian froze, not from fear, but from the sudden realization that this human could have ended the match right then. Rion's eyes were hard, unblinking. Try him, and you'll regret it. The crowd erupted in a mix of cheers and shouts. Camera drones zoomed in close to catch every detail of Rion's face, the lines of old battles, the calm of a man who had nothing left to prove. Corral swallowed hard, his heart pounding. He'd never had anyone stand between him and danger before. It felt strange. And powerful Dot the mammalian tried again, charging from the left. This time, Rian didn't stop him entirely. Instead, he called over his shoulder, "Corral, now." The boy blinked in shock, but his body moved on instinct. He swung his light staff in a clean, quick strike, hitting the mammalian's side. The blow wasn't strong enough to drop him, but it was enough to make him stumble. The crowd roared in. Surprise! Corral froze, breathing hard, but Rian's voice cut through. "Good, again." The mammalian turned, snarling, but Rian was already between them again, forcing the alien back with a sweeping strike. Around the arena, the mood had shifted. Completely. No longer was this a cruel joke. It was becoming a real fight. Up in the VIP section, a figure cloaked in dark fabric leaned forward. His eyes followed Rian with laser focus. A faint smile played at his lips. "So, the human warrior lives." He murmured Dot back on the sand. The reptilian and mammalian regrouped, glaring at Rion. The insectoid circled to Corral's right side, looking for an opening. Rion's eyes flicked to each enemy, reading them like a map. "They'll come all at once now," he said to Corral. "Don't look at their weapons. Look at their feet. Feet tell the truth." Corral nodded quickly, every muscle tense. The gong sounded again, the signal for the final exchange. All three opponents charged at once. The crowd's roar became a thunderstorm of noise. Rian stepped forward, spear spinning in a blur. Corral gripped his staff, eyes locked on the nearest attacker. And then the arena lights flickered. A low, vibrating hum began to rise from deep within the floor. The same hum that Rian hadn't heard since the Crith War. His stomach dropped. Something was very wrong. The hum in the floor grew louder. It wasn't the sound of failing lights or broken machinery. It was steady, rhythmic, almost like something breathing deep under the arena. Rian felt it in his boots, in his chest. He knew that sound. He'd heard it years ago, during the last days of the Crith War, moments before a hidden weapon tore through entire fleets. But the crowd didn't notice. They were too busy watching the fight. The three young alien opponents charged again. The reptilian swung his claws at Rion's head. The mammalian came from the left, aiming low at Rion's legs. The insectoid darted in from behind, going straight for Corral. Rion moved like a storm. His spear came up in a tight spin, knocking the reptilian's arm aside. Without missing a beat, he kicked backward, catching the insectoid in the chest and sending it skidding across the sand. "Stay with me," Rian shouted. Corral was breathing hard, but his eyes were sharper now, his stance steadier. He swung his staff in a quick, sharp arc, catching the mammalian on the wrist. The alien yelped and dropped his weapon. The crowd gasped. A hit from the boy. Rian used the distraction to grab the mammalian's shoulder and push him into the reptilian, sending them both stumbling. He looked back at Corral for just a second. "Better," Rian said. "Now watch their hips. Hips tell you where the attack's going." Corral nodded, too focused to even smile. The insectoid screeched and charged again. This time, Rian didn't block it. Instead, he stepped aside, letting it run straight toward Rel. The boy's hands shook, but he held his ground. At the last moment, Corral twisted his body, bringing the staff up under the insectoid's jaw. The alien's legs buckled, and it fell to its knees. The roar from the crowd was deafening. Even those who had laughed earlier were now shouting the boy's name, but Rian didn't hear them. The hum beneath the arena was growing, and with it came a faint heat in the air, the same heat he'd felt on the hull of a warship seconds before it exploded. Something big was coming. The reptilian and mammalian were covered and stood side by side, glaring at Rian and Karel. "You shouldn't be here, human," the reptilian hissed. "You'll regret stepping onto this field." Rian tilted his head slightly. "Maybe, but you'll regret underestimating a boy who refuses to stay down." With that, he surged forward. What followed wasn't just a fight. It was a lesson. Rian moved with precise control, forcing each alien into positions where Karel could strike. Sometimes it was a quick hit to the arm, sometimes a jab to the side, but each blow made the boy boulder dot by the end of the exchange. Karel was no longer hiding behind Rian. He was fighting alongside him. The crowd could feel it too. The laughter from earlier was gone, replaced by chants and stomps that shook the stands. Then the lights above flickered again. This time, everyone noticed. The announcer's voice faltered, cutting out mid-sentence. The hum in the floor was now a deep, metallic growl. Corral glanced at Rian. "What is that?" Rian's face was pale, his eyes scanning the arena walls. "Not now," he said. "Focus on the fight." But deep down he knew this wasn't just about a boy's honor anymore. Something dangerous was hidden beneath this tournament, something no one was ready for. The reptilian roared and charged. The mammalian came in from the opposite side. Rian met them head on, his spear a blur of motion. Karel mirrored him, swinging his staff with a confidence that hadn't been there minutes ago. They drove the two opponents back to the edge of the ring. The insectoid, still recovering, limped toward them for one last desperate attack. The crowd was on its feet, and the ground trembled. The sand rippled like water. A thin line of light cracked through the arena floor beneath Rian's boots. Eyes widened. He'd seen this exact phenomenon once before, in the middle of a battlefield that didn't survive what came next. The announcer's voice came back, high and panicked. "Security to the arena floor." Now the hum became a roar dot, and with a deafening boom, the center of the ring split open. The arena floor split wide, sending a shockwave through the sand. Rian grabbed Karel by the arm and yanked him back just as a jagged chunk of metal pushed up from the ground. The light pouring from the crack wasn't warm. It was cold, sharp, and unnatural. It made the air shimmer like heat above a desert road. The crowd erupted in panic. Some screamed. Some recorded with their holo devices. Camera drones swarmed closer to capture the moment. The reptilian opponent fell back, shielding his eyes. What is that?" he hissed. Rian knew. He just didn't want to say it. The glow intensified, and a strange machine began to rise from beneath the arena. Its surface was covered in alien runes, older than any species in the Galactic Council. Spines of dark metal unfolded like the petals of a poisonous flower. Karal's voice trembled. "It's alive." "No," Rian sighed. "It's worse." The insectoid opponent stumbled back, clicking in fear. The mammalian looked ready to run, but the arena's energy barrier still shimmered around the ring, trapping everyone inside. The announcer's voice cracked over the loudspeakers. "Security forces are en route. Please remain calm." No one remained calm. A deep, grinding sound came from the machine, followed by a pulse of cold blue light. The hum in the floor became a slow, heavy heartbeat. Rian's grip tightened on his spear. He turned to Karel. "Listen to me. Whatever happens, you stay behind me. Do exactly what I say. Understand?" Karel swallowed hard and nodded. The reptilian tried to move toward the edge, but the moment he touched the barrier, a spark of energy knocked him back into the sand. They were trapped. The machine's petals opened fully now, revealing a dark core, a sphere of shifting light, swirling like smoke trapped in glass. The temperature in the arena dropped so fast that Karal could see his own breath. Then came the voice dot. It didn't speak in sound. It was inside their heads. A cold, ancient whisper. It sent shivers down their spines. Combatants detected. Initiating trial protocol. Rian's jaw tightened. He'd heard of this. Old war stories told in shadows. Battle relics from before the Galactic Council was formed. Weapons that tested those who stood before them and killed those who failed. The crowd, now realizing something far worse was happening, pounded on the security barriers, desperate to escape. Corral clutched his staff. "It's choosing us?" "Yes," Rian said, stepping forward. "And it's not going to wait." Without warning, the machine's core pulsed again, and three figures began to take shape in the air around it. They weren't flesh and blood. They were made of the same cold light, but their weapons looked solid, deadly. One was a towering brute with an axe the size of Corral. The second was a swift, armored warrior holding two short blades. The third moved like a shadow, its face hidden, its weapon a long, curved spear. Corral stepped back. "They're not real, right?" The first brute slammed his axe into the sand. The ground shook under Rian's boots. "They're real enough," he said grimly. The reptilian opponent growled. "Then we fight together, or we die together." Rian gave a short nod. For now, even rivals could be allies. The machine's voice echoed again in their minds. "Trial begins, survive." The first brute charged, its axe cutting through the air with a sound like ripping metal. Rian shoved Corral aside, blocking the swing with his spear. The force drove him back 3 steps. The shadow warrior darted toward Corral, moving almost too fast to see. The boy swung his staff wildly, catching nothing but air. The shadow reappeared at his side, blade raised. Clang! Rian's spear knocked it away just in time. "Watch your back!" Rian barked. The armored twin-blade warrior leapt toward the reptilian, who barely blocked in time. The mammalian opponent tackled it from the side, forcing it down. It was chaos. The glowing fighters didn't slow down, didn't feel pain, didn't even breathe. Every strike from them shook the sand. Every missed block could mean the end. Rian's arms burned from the effort, but his mind stayed sharp. This wasn't a random attack. The machine was studying them, learning their moves, pushing them harder with each second. And then, the cold whisper returned. Weak link detected. The glowing shadow turned its head toward Corral. Rian's blood ran cold. The shadow warrior vanished again, reappearing right behind the boy. "Corral!" Rian shouted, but the spear was already coming down. The spear came down. A blur of cold light aimed straight for Corral's head. Rian didn't think. He moved. His body slammed into the boy, knocking him out of the way just as the spear hit the sand where Corral had been standing a heartbeat ago. The impact threw sand and shards of energy into the air. The shadow warrior hissed, not a sound, but a feeling inside their skulls, sharp and hateful. Corral scrambled back, heart pounding, eyes wide. "Commander, stay behind me." Rian barked, planting his feet in the sand. The glowing brute charged again, axe raised. Rian spun his spear in a wide arc, striking the brute's wrist. The weapon flickered, glitching for a second. That was all he needed. He rammed the spearhead into the brute's chest. Light exploded, and the massive figure shattered into fragments, dissolving into the air. The crowd roared, a sound of fear and awe mixed together. The twin-blade warrior attacked next, leaping over the reptilian opponent and striking fast. The mammalian alien intercepted, locking one blade, but the other cut deep across his shoulder. He staggered, snarling in pain. Rian stepped in, hooking the twin blade's leg and yanking hard. The glowing fighter fell, and the reptilian slammed his claws into its chest, finishing it. Another burst of light filled the arena. Only the shadow remained. Kirill gripped his staff tighter. His chest heaved, mechanical leg whirring with each breath. He could see it. The shadow was circling them, waiting, hunting him. Rian's voice was low. "It's after you. That means we control where it goes." Kirill swallowed. "What do you mean?" "Run." The boy didn't argue. He turned and sprinted across the sand. The shadow blurred, chasing him, its curved spear glinting. Rian waited, muscles coiled like a spring dot at the last second. Kirill stumbled, not by accident, but on purpose, and dropped to one knee. The shadow's spear thrust forward. Rian was already there. He caught the shaft in both hands, twisting hard. The weapon flickered, destabilizing. With a roar, he drove his own spear into the shadow's chest. The light shattered like glass, and the final opponent dissolved into nothing. The arena fell silent. The machine in the center pulsed one last time. The cold voice spoke again in their heads. Trial complete. Subjects worthy. The petals of dark metal folded inward, sealing the glowing core inside. The hum faded. The temperature began to rise again. Then, without warning, the machine sank back into the ground, vanishing as if it had never been there. The energy barrier around the arena dropped. The crowd erupted in deafening cheers, not the cruel laughter from before, but the sound of respect. Rian turned to Kirill. The boy was on his feet, chest still heaving, but standing tall. "You did good," Rian said. Kirill managed a small smile. "We did good." The reptilian stepped forward, pressing a clawed hand to his chest, a warrior salute. The mammalian bowed his head in silent thanks. Up in the announcer's booth, the voice finally steadied. "Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the match, Commander Rian Holt of Earth and Kirill of Vather." The crowd roared louder. Camera drones swarmed around them, capturing every angle of the unlikely pair. But Rian wasn't looking at the cameras. He was looking at the far corner of the stands. There, standing in the shadows, was a figure in dark armor. No insignia, no face visible. They raised a hand slowly in a gesture Rian recognized from a lifetime ago. Kirill followed his gaze. "Friend of yours?" Rian's jaw tightened. "Not exactly." The armored figure turned and walked away, disappearing into the crowd. Rian put a hand on Kirill's shoulder. "Come on, we've got work to do." They walked out of the arena together, two figures against a galaxy that had just been reminded what humans were capable of. Far above, in the Council's highest chambers, messages were already being sent. The human warrior has returned. The trials have begun, and somewhere deep in the void, something ancient stirred.